welcome to Terra Girls. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Brittany.
And we are excited to be with you again this morning. So first things first, we're going to just jump right in to our health check.
As we're going to talk about later, I did a race this week with a 6-mile run. So that was my longest run of the week. So that helps my average a little bit. I had 2 days where I did not get 10,000 steps.
Okay.
But average, 10,628.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Improvement from last week.
Definitely,
for sure.
definitely.
Okay. Let me check mine.
You did a longer run this week
Yeah,
too,
I'm
right?
on a 7-mile run on Monday? What day is it? It's Wednesday. It's Monday when you're watching us, but it's Wednesday when we're filming it.
Yeah.
Okay, my average this week was 8,900.
That's great.
So still an improvement by about 1,000, well,
Yeah.
almost 2,000 steps from last week, but not quite over that.
Yeah, 10,000.
10,000 mark.
Yeah. In conclusion, get a dog.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, really, every time I watched Rocky, I watched my friend Sarah's dog Benny. Every week I had the dogs.
Yeah.
I got way over 10,000.
Way more steps.
Way
Yeah.
over 10,000 steps.
How is your drinking water going?
Good. So I am notorious for losing my water bottles in my car. My car is like it just collects everything.
Don't they rattle around?
Yes, but they then like go under the seat.
Yeah, they settle.
So I have 2 Terra Nalgene's that are great because they're like the narrow spout, and so they're easier to drink from. And that is what I had been using to like as my water bottle.
Yep.
And I like lost them. I couldn't find them. Didn't know where they were. So I was drinking out of a smaller water bottle, which is fine. And then I cleaned up my car because I just went on a little road trip to visit my new niece this past weekend, and I was like, oh. There were like multiple water bottles.
There they are.
Yeah, so anyways, my water intake has been great because I have my Terra water bottles back, and I've been like guzzling water.
Having a water bottle, I feel like, is the key to water intake.
Yep.
Having a good water bottle that you don't lose, that's my key. As I leave it everywhere.
Yeah, she leaves it. Mine just like get lost under like my car. She's like left it.
It's like a joke in the stores that like, here's Brittany's water bottle.
Yep.
I carry it with me everywhere, like religiously. But I leave it everywhere too. But having a good water bottle where you can track your water is the key. So if you don't have an Nalgene, we have a couple different Terra design Nalgenes, but having a Nalgene that's 32 ounces that you can, I try to drink it all the way down and then fill it back up so I can keep track. I have been doing better at my hydration. I've been doing a noon every day.
Oh, nice.
Every day.
Yep.
So I do it in a different cup because I don't want to make my water bottle taste like a noonie. But I have been drinking a noon every single day because even like, Southeast Tennessee, even if you don't go for a run,
you're just sweating.
You're just sweating. Like just living is sweating.
Yep.
So
it's so true.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day. I went on a short run and I came home and I had salt.
Did you?
Salt everywhere, and I was like, ha! I'm a salty sweater.
Yeah, you are.
And
so you can't ever get away with not showering, probably.
No, I can't. It's actually really frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, yay, I'm clean, I'm glad. But it's like, you really...
I could definitely get away with, as long as I'm not stinky, I could get away with
oh no, I mean,
showering.
just look like I've jumped in a pool every time. And yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, so what about your sleep?
My sleep has probably not been the best this week. 6 hours. Okay,
oh
hold
my
on.
gosh.
That was last night. It was like almost 7 hours. I want my average. Where's my average?
6 hours?
6 hours and 49 minutes.
It's your average?
No, that was last night.
Oh my
I don't know what
gosh,
my
are you
average is.
tired?
Well, I'm drinking coffee, so all is well in the world.
Oh my gosh. Well, remember I can't keep my Garmin on at night. I just like rip it off and throw it in my sleep. But my average, just from experience, is like 8+ hours.
Well, I need my phone, I think, to check the average.
Yeah.
It's just showing me, it's going to be more than that. My guess is it's probably about 7 hours, like 30 minutes, 15 minutes.
Wow.
Hey, at least it's not 4 hours like Brandon and
Oh my
Asher.
gosh, yeah, those young kids.
Yep, those young kids.
What a life, you know? we have chosen our second Terra Girls book club book. If you want to read along with us, we are reading Donald Miller's A Million Miles in 1,000 Years. We've got a couple copies here at the store that are lightly read, but do include a Terra Girls book club sticker for $10. We've got some paperback. So stop by and pick up a copy if you would like, but definitely read along with us. This is a great book that anyone can read. It's an easy read, it's very inspirational, and can be applied to any goal you have in your life, not necessarily running.
Yep.
So
it's a great book, one of my favorites. Very excited to jump back in.
Yeah, so big fans of Donald Miller, and we're excited about this second Terra Girls book club pick. So read with us.
Yeah. Okay. Again, we're working on our transitions.
Next.
Next. Okay, you ran a race this weekend. You actually did a race this weekend.
Yeah.
It was not a road race.
Right, it wasn't strictly a running race.
A triathlon.
It was a triathlon. Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about triathlon and the race I did this weekend. So this was my third triathlon.
Okay.
And it was an Olympic distance triathlon.
Okay, so I know that I used to not know what triathlon was.
Yep.
But then when I did know, I was very confused about the distances.
Yeah.
So tell us what a triathlon is, because I think it's almost like, you know how, and maybe you guys have had this experience, you run a 5K and people are like, oh, you did a marathon.
Right.
Like they just think a marathon is a race.
Right. Yeah.
Similar thing happens with triathlons.
Yeah.
Tell us about what a triathlon is.
Yeah.
And some of the distances.
So triathlon, the definition of triathlon is swim, bike, and run. So it could be a pool swim or an open water swim. The one I did was in the river in Chattanooga, an open water swim, a bike, and then a run. So that's triathlon. There are many different distances of triathlon, from sprint, which is the shortest, which is super approachable. It's a shorter swim, 400 to 800 meters, about a 12-mile bike, and a 5K run, so a 3-mile run. The one I did this weekend was a little bit longer, about double that. It was called an Olympic distance. So it was a 1,700 meter swim, I think,
Okay.
a 24-mile bike,
Okay.
and a 10K run, 6 miles.
Okay.
So it took me about 3 hours to give you a gauge. That's not like fast, but that's like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty average.
Okay, I'm curious, where did you get in the water downtown Chat, and where did you get out?
Ooh, I got in the water at the something club. Cut this part out.
Just want to give the people an idea of the length of
Yeah, it
how
was
far
like
you swim. Was it a golf club? Was it GPS? Was it?
It was like a something kind of club. It's like a boat club. Or
Was it the row? Was it
rowing. It was the rowing club.
Okay, so kind of over there by
The
river
rowing
walk.
club, and then we swam all the way to Ross's Landing, and they put
Okay.
steps in the water, and
Okay.
there are people at the bottom of the steps helping pull you out. So
Okay.
you swim up to the steps, you hit the steps.
Okay.
There's nothing very smooth about it. You hit the steps, and then they help pull you out.
Okay.
And if you've ever swam a while or been on a boat, you're kind of just like, whoa, and you have to run up all those steps. I definitely walked, but you have to run up all those steps, and you're kind of just like, oh.
Yep. Okay, that's helpful. So
Yeah.
from the rowing club down to Ross's Landing.
Yeah.
That was 1,700 and something.
Yeah,
like that?
something like that. Something 17, 19,
Great.
16, something like that.
Great.
It took me 30 minutes
Okay.
to give you a kind of a time gauge. And that's, like I said, that's average.
Okay, so that was Olympic distance. You've also done a half Ironman
Yep.
before. And Ironman races are triathlons.
Yep.
What's the difference between an Ironman race?
Yep.
Or half Ironman race and just a regular triathlon?
Yep. So Ironman's like a brand of race.
Okay.
And a half Ironman, or a 70.3,
Mhm.
is a 1.2 mile swim,
Okay.
a 52 mile bike.
Okay. I mean, yeah, the range.
Yeah, 56 mile bike, and a half marathon. And so that took me, I've done one of those. I signed up for another one in Chattanooga in May, but that took me about close to 7 hours.
Okay.
So about double an Olympic distance. So
Yeah.
it's a 1.2 mile swim, a 56 mile bike,
Yep.
and a half marathon, a 13.1 mile run. That's a half Ironman, or
Yep.
a 70.3. And then a full Ironman, which they do have one in Chattanooga in the fall, is a 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike, and a full marathon, 26.2-mile run.
All back-to-back, people.
Yes.
All back-to-back.
So that is, you know, the amount of training it takes for a full Ironman is just really very intense. And yeah, it takes a ton of time. So I'm not really interested in doing any full Ironmans, but I do really like a 70.3 or half Ironman. That kind of, to me, a half Ironman to me is equivalent to about the effort of a marathon plus. I've done some marathons, and I would say the half Ironman was much more painful. I was in much more pain that day and the days following that. I would say an Olympic distance is about equivalent for me to a half marathon. It took me about 3 hours, but it wasn't, you know, a half marathon for me is a little bit shorter, but a little bit more intense. So,
all the distances, it's very intense. I've never done a triathlon. I'd be interested. I don't have like the really fancy bike. The road biking kind of freaks me out just because of training for it and traffic and all that good stuff. But it sounds super fun. I love swimming, and you know I love running. I also love biking. It's just the roads. But I have gotten to volunteer for the Ironman and half Ironman. So if you're like, well, that sounds cool, but I would never in a million years. If you still want to be in on like all the race day vibes, we have a 70.3 Ironman in May in Chattanooga and the full, I think in September usually. And they're always looking for volunteers. I usually do water safety, so out on the kayak, the first part, because then you're like with all the swimmers, and then you can kind of go watch the race or just go downtown and watch the race.
It's super cool when you're open water swimming, you know, from point to point, so you're going downstream, so the current is always with you, which is super helpful. It pushes you a little bit, not anything noticeable, but time-wise it's noticeable. But there are kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, all of these great volunteers all along the way, and if you ever like need a break or aren't feeling well, you can like put your hand up, grab a kayak and rest. So it's really cool to have those volunteers.
So you didn't do that. That wasn't what you did this past weekend. You did the waterfront try. But I think it's important that we all know that there are multiple distances.
Definitely.
So sprint and Olympic are two of the main ones really for a try.
Yeah, those are like shorter course ones, and then a 70.3 half Ironman, and then a full Ironman. But all of them are swim, bike, and run. So triathlon takes a ton of equipment. This was something that I was really surprised at. You know, I've been a runner for years, but I didn't quite realize all the stuff you need. So I took a video of packing up my stuff the night before the race this weekend, and so we're going to go to that video. So I'll show you all of the packing up I required for all my stuff. Hi Terra Girls, it's Brittany. It's the night before my Olympic distance triathlon, so I thought I would show you all of the stuff the triathlon requires. I'm doing the Chattanooga waterfront triathlon tomorrow. The distances are about a 1,900 meter swim, a 24-mile bike, and a 10K run. So I'll show you all the stuff that I need. Like a running race where you need a bib number, you need body marking and a bracelet with your bib number on it, and in a couple more places that I'll show you. So I have all my stuff laid out in order, so tomorrow morning when I get ready, I'll put on my triathlon suit, so I will do the whole thing in this, swim, bike, and run in this. And then I've got a drop bag for the morning. So I have my open water swimming goggles, I have a swim cap, a stroopwafel, which is my favorite morning snack, and earplugs, and I'll drop this bag off when I start. When I get out of the river, it'll be the swim to bike transition. So for that, I have a towel to dry off, because remember I don't change my clothes. I've got 2 more stroopwafels for the bike. I have my bike shoes with socks. I've got my Gooder sunglasses. I have a gel for during the transition. I've got my bike helmet that also has my number on it. And I have a bunch of bottles ready for on the bike that are made with scratch. I've also got some spray sunscreen that I'll try to remember to put on before the bike. So I'll do a 24-mile bike, and then I will go to the bike to run transition. And there's no time to pin your number on, so I'll put on this race number belt with some goos already in it that just clips on over top my tri-suit. I have my running shoes and another pair of socks. I did this race last year and remembered that I wish I had a second pair of socks because my feet were still wet going into the run and I got some blisters. So I got another pair of socks if I remember to do that, and I brought a hat. So I've got everything I need for tomorrow morning and a change of clothes for after, so wish me luck.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah, so packed up the night before, you go check in your bike the night, you can check it in the day before. So I went down to Chattanooga, checked my bike in, you rack your bike and hang it on the transition area. And then when you get there that morning, you have the little space underneath your bike to put your stuff for transition. So I had all my stuff for when I got out of the water and onto my bike. So I had to put my helmet on, my sunglasses, my bike shoes, grab some nutrition. And then right behind that, I had all my stuff for my bike to run transition. So take off my bike shoes, put on my run shoes. Take off my helmet, put on a hat. That's about it.
So is the transition always in that one same spot? Because that's where your stuff is?
Yeah, so at this race it was.
Okay.
There are races where there's 2 transition areas.
Okay.
Logistically, that's a little bit more complicated because you can't, if you want body glide, for example, you have to have body glide at both transitions.
Yeah.
If you want goos, I brought a bunch of goos and stroopwafels and then either ate them at transition 1 or transition 2, but I could share, right, because all my stuff was together. There are races that have 2 separate transitions, which is pretty complicated. Yeah. There are also races that make you check in all of your stuff the night before, so you don't get that stuff in the morning.
Gotcha.
So just logistically, it always stresses me out that if you forget your sunglasses, day's over. You know what I mean? Okay, maybe not sunglasses, but if you forget your bike shoes or your socks or your helmet, any one of those things is absolutely necessary.
Has this ever happened to you?
No.
Okay, what was the most important thing for you this past race? What was your this is my prized possession, I'm so glad I packed this kind of piece of equipment?
So when I first, I'm a runner, so when I first started doing triathlon, I was like, I'm not wearing the same thing, the same tri-suit the whole time. I'll be wet. I'm not running wet. So I would change my shirt. I would swim and then I would put on a bike jersey and then I'd put on a running shirt for the run. This time I had a tri-suit on, so I wore it the whole time. I was skeptical of wanting to wear the same thing from the water to the end of the run.
Right.
But it was really great. It made the transition so much easier. And actually, it really cools down your body to have something wet against your skin. So as it started to get warm on the run, I was glad that I had that tri-suit on that was still a little bit wet and I could put ice down it.
Nice.
So that was probably the most important thing. That and nutrition.
Yep.
I had stroopwafel before. I had a goo at transition 1. I had stroopwafel on the bike. I had a goo during the run. So just keeping my body fueled was super important.
Yep.
And on a race like that where you're trying to keep moving relatively fast the whole time, the waffles and the goos are really helpful.
Yep. Okay. And we all know your favorite stroopwafel flavor was definitely ginger ale. So.
Ew. No. I had wild berry and I had campfire s'mores, and my goo flavors were vanilla. That's it, just vanilla.
Good call. Okay, so I think everyone's kind of getting the gist, but very different from prepping for something like a marathon.
Yeah.
Way more logistics.
Yes.
Way more moving pieces, way more, just different gear that you need.
Yeah.
But training, training for that versus a marathon. Similarities, differences.
What I like about training for triathlon, which is why I've kind of stuck with it, is you can change it up, right? Yeah. So I'm tired of running, or I have a little ache and a pain and I want to take a couple days off. I'll swim 3 days in a row, or I'll go for a bike a bunch of days. So I like that you can change it up. I don't get sick of any one of them. But I try to, in training for a half Ironman, for example, it's about, 12, 16, 20 weeks, a couple months of trying to swim 3 days a week, run 3 days a week, and bike 3 days a week. And there's not enough days to do all of that, so there are some days where I do 2.
Yeah.
And I try to take a day off.
Yep.
So yeah, training I would say it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Just because biking takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Logistically, you can't just swim out your door. You have to
Yeah.
go to a pool or
Yeah.
to the river or lake. I do really enjoy open water swimming.
Yep.
So I like to go down to the river in Chattanooga or to Parksville Lake.
Yep.
Especially in the summer, we have great outdoor swimming
We
weather.
definitely do. All right, well, what's your parting advice for someone that is interested in doing a triathlon?
Yeah. I had always kind of swam here and there. I took years off from swimming. The summer before I started training for a triathlon, I would just go out and bike and just like see how long I could go. Just totally have fun with it. If you do 2 of those things, I challenge you to try something new and do a third. You know, road biking is not horrible. It's, you know, there's definitely some challenges to it, but we have some of the most beautiful road biking roads in the country, I swear. Here, I ride a lot in South Bradley County.
Yeah.
I ride early in the morning, so there's not as much traffic, but if you do 2 of those things, try the third and you will love it. Sprint triathlons are relatively short course and it's approachable. It's, you know, if you are a runner, it's really approachable. And also, what I like about triathlon is I'm not like good, I'm not like great at any of those, right? Like I can swim for a long time pretty slow. I can bike for a long time, not super fast. And you can always walk the run course. There's always walkers, especially because you have been doing activities for hours. So you don't have to be great at anything. You can be okay at a whole bunch of things and you're a triathlete.
I love it.
Yep, so we have a video of after the race. I checked in with Terra Girls to let you know how I felt. All right, Terra Girls, this is Brittany coming to you post triathlon. I finished. It was great. I am exhausted. It's starting to get really hot, so I'm so glad I'm done. All in all, it was a great race, beautiful day. Chattanooga is such a great place to swim in the river and bike and run. I was within a couple minutes of my time from last year, so super happy with that. And yeah, I didn't get a flat tire. That's always my biggest fear, is getting a flat. I do know how to change it, for everyone who's gonna ask. No one's gonna ask. I do know how to change it, but it would just stress me out. I'd be on the side of the road crying before I could change it. So I didn't forget anything. You know, that's always the fear with all the stuff I showed you pre-race. I didn't forget anything, and my bike made it. So yeah, it was a great race, and happy to have completed it. So thanks for tuning in to Terra Girls. See ya.
Alright guys, let us know if you've ever done a triathlon before, and if you have, how it's gone. Let us know if you're interested in doing a triathlon. Yeah, just tell us about your experiences with that and doing kind of different things other than running. Maybe it's not a triathlon, but it's something else that you're interested in. Yeah, we want to hear back from you guys and what you guys are all up to, especially this summer.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Terra Girls. I'm Brittany.
I'm Tiffany.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye!